How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Never felt better in my life.
Brilliant, because I know you just had a big operation, a knee operation, haven't you? And a lot of things have been happening.
I had a knee replacement. That's my 4th joint replacement.
Wow, wow. And as a jockey, Ian, what got you into horse racing in the first place, mate?
Well, I was born in Newmarket, but my father was in the Navy, and I took a Saturday job at some stables near my school when I was 10, and just fiddling about. The chap was John Powney, and he owned the yard, and he had pigs. His pigs. And I was fiddling around with the pigs, and then there were stables there. Pat Moore stables were there, and he had his horses at that yard, and I just progressed on mucking out the horses and as well as the pigs. And I started. John Powney and Pat Moore taught me to ride, and by the time I was 12, I was allowed to ride a gallop, which the horse bolted with me. I thought it was just magic. Yeah. And then I was allowed to jump an old horse when I was 13, and just progressed from then. But I was always destined to go into the Royal Navy like my father, you see.
Oh, right.
And I was schooling a few horses every now and then, up until then. One day I was at a point at Cottenham, and I was must have been 16 at the time, and this horse in the paddock, it reared over and fell over onto the jockey and broke his leg.
Wow.
And as the owner was leading the horse away, I ran up behind him. My natural shyness deserted me at that moment. And I ran up behind him and tapped him on the shoulder and asked him what he's going to do with her now. And he didn't know. He said, I wanted to run her next week in Malton. And I said, well, if you can organise the paperwork, I'll ride it for you.
Wow.
And that was it. I rode that mare. The mare was called Moment of Madness, actually, and a bit apt. And anyway, I rode her, and on the way to start, I mean, I knew I was going to go in the Royal Navy. Halfway around, Gary, halfway around, I knew the writing was on the wall.
Right. Brilliant. Well, a lovely little story there, Ian. And yeah, we got a lot of viewers are popping up messages, and sorry we can't bring a picture of Ian tonight. So you got a new book out there, Ian, and tell us a bit about your new book, sir.
Yeah. Well, my daughter has told 1 or 2 people that as I was 44, when the first of my children arrived, they know nothing about my previous life, my young life, you see, and she thought she would really have to get hold of somebody to do it. Well, Chris Pitt, who's been a friend of mine for 50 years, he's a professional author from Birmingham, and they got their heads together, and Chris has been pestering me for 27 years to write a book, and I kept saying yes. And anyway, so I agreed to do it, and last October, this lady from Sussex joined in on the onslaught on me, and she liked some of the stories I put on Facebook, and she gave me the impetus and the kick up the backside to get it done, and it's done, printed now, it's on sale.
Brilliant.
And I'm only doing it. It's not a money-making thing, Gary.
No.
It's to if I can cover nearly all the costs of printing it, it'd be fine. But it's for my children. I've got 4 grandchildren as well, you see.
Wow. Well, yeah, you're catching me up. Brilliant. So what's the book called, Ian?
The book is called, it's sort of a reflection on my life. The book is called The Going Up Was Worth the Coming Down.
Brilliant. And you can honestly say that every time you went up, it was okay to come down. You've had some nasty falls over me, and haven't you? Didn't one finish your career?
Sorry?
You've had some nasty falls, sir, but didn't one finish your career?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right, yes. Yes, I had some real high points in my life, but in between there was a lot of low points. And I never felt like giving up or anything like that, but I had quite a few injuries. I mean, but the last one, it wasn't expected. I had a bruised brain, and the horse just crashed on my head. And I used to be in a wheelchair, but there was nothing wrong with my legs. It was full brain damage.
Wow.
But, actually, Bill O'Gorman, who Bill and I have known each other since we were 10 years old, he maintains that I'm still not the same person as I was before the fall.
Wow, unbelievable. You jockeys are crazy people. You know, we've had Declan Murphy on the show, mate, and he's lucky to still be here with us. Well, let's talk about some highs then, Ian. You've rode some terrific horses, haven't you? Can you name a couple of horses that people may remember?
Oh yes. I've ridden some. I've been very lucky. I was very lucky that Peter Easterby was struggling to find somebody to ride Sea Pigeon one day. Well, actually, on the first ride with him was Night Nurse. Was Night Nurse in the Scottish Champion Hurdle.
Night Nurse. Well, there's two massive names.
Well, that's right. I went up to Ayr to ride him in a Champion Hurdle, and I rode another one for him up there as well. I think that one as well. That one, but I didn't win on Night Nurse. I finished second to Sea Pigeon. But that was the race in which Golden Signet fell at the last and broke his neck.
Oh, blimey! Yeah.
He looked like he was going to be. He looked like he would have beaten both of us.
Right.
And then I rode one for him in the King George V Gold Cup. A lovely horse. The name just escapes me in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished fourth or fifth on that. And then I was lucky enough to get the call up to ride Sea Pigeon.
Wow.
In that big handicap hurdle at Haydock. And that was his first run after he'd been transferred with all of Mr. Muldoon's horses to Peter Easterby. That was his first run. I don't think he was favourite, but he had a big weight. He had 12 stone 2, and there was 19 runners, and turning into the straight, I was 18th.
Wow.
I was seventh. I was seventh over the last, and I won 4 lengths.
Wow, that must be. Would you say that's one of your favourite memories as a jockey then, or?
It was unbelievable, Gary. You know, and my daughter has a picture of me, a big coloured picture of me coming in, and the look on my face is just, I can't believe it. I could not believe what had just happened.
Fantastic. Well, it's memories like that, mate, which stick with you forever. And fantastic. And people like us who follow racing, we appreciate all you did in the past. And I know it's a tough sport. And you had a couple of goes at the big Grand National fences.
Yeah. I was Sea Pigeon was just a hurdler. I won 3 out of 3 on him. I had a couple of rides in the Grand National. One the second time, the first time the old horse's leg went.
Wow.
And that was Johnny's clump for Tom Jones. And then I rode Sage Bear in the 1977 one. But I was lucky to get started on him because I showed him the first fence and he lost his nerve completely. He ran backwards towards the crowd. And if it hadn't been for a kindly lad, stable lad, who jumped over the fence and led me back in, I wouldn't have started. And luckily the start was held up by a group of demonstrators on the course where they were demonstrating to get some local villain let out clink.
Oh.
But anyway, I fell in the chair in that race. I was laying second, but I know he wouldn't have got any further than Beaches next time.
Wow.
He'd lost his nerve completely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ian. It was a shame we couldn't get a picture. Perhaps you've got so many interesting stories, mate. We'll get it right one day, and we'll have you on again with a picture, and it'd be lovely to hear from you again. Good luck with your book, sir. People can get it on Amazon. Just remind people what it's called again.
Yeah, it's called The Going Up. It's worth the coming down. You can get it from the National Horse Racing Museum.
Yep.
Or the Injured Jockeys Fund, and if you buy it from those, apart from the cost of I will only take the cost of it printing. The rest is going to the charity.
Wow!
So I think if you buy it from one of those places, you will secure your place in heaven.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much, Ian. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate, talking to you. And hopefully next time I'm in Newmarket, we'll meet up. I'll meet Bob a couple of times this year. And hopefully I'll be heading back to Newmarket on my charity tour next year. Anyway, Ian, thanks for joining us, pal.
Great.
And we'll catch you soon, fella. Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Gary. It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye, mate. Well, there we go, Ian Watkinson. Wow, what an amazing...